YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back to a banger new video. It's your boy Roxy. Today we're going to be talking, doing a direct comparison about the Charger RT versus the Charger SXT. We're going to be talking about some of the advantages and disadvantages each of the vehicle has. And then yeah, so before this video really gets started, I want everyone to go into the comments right now and then comment if, let's say, you couldn't have a Charger or a Challenger, what other car out there do you think you would see yourself owning? Would it be a Chevy Camaro or would it be a Mustang? Interested to know you guys' take. And yes, all right, we're gonna get into the video here shortly. Let's go. In this video, we're gonna be looking at the engine performance of both engines, price, driving experience that these vehicles will offer you. Lastly, we're gonna be looking at some of the features and options. Let's first take a look at the engine. Alrighty guys, so if you go ahead and you pick you up an RT, you're gonna be getting a whopping 370 horsepower. This is going to come with that Hemi V8 engine. You're going to be getting a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to this, whereas with the Pentastar engine, it's still a very, very good engine, reliable engine. I don't hear that many people running into problems even after, 100,000 miles on the Pentastar engine. So like I said, with that, you're going to be getting 292. Hold up, I hear a plane. I don't know if you guys saw the plane taking off in the back, but yeah, it's pretty neat. Also with these engines, this is actually going to deliver you 390 pound-feet of torque. And then I think the Pentastar engine is only going to give you like 260 pound-feet of torque. So you definitely feel that in the performance of the vehicle. When you're downshifting, you're loading up, you just feel the car just wanting to take off. You'll be sliding all over the road a little bit, depending on what tires you're rocking. Make sure my lights just went off. Make sure you got some 275s at least, if you do have the V8 RT models. With the V6, you don't really have to worry that much about braking traction. Still has a good bit of power. Again, 292 horsepower. That's nothing to sleep on, okay? It's definitely, below the standards today of, most vehicles. I mean, the RT is too, like when you look at like the category it's in with the V8s, but it's still a good amount of power. It's still respected. You can still have fun when it comes to the horsepower that these vehicles do come with. So yeah, it's obviously going to be a given that the Charger RT's engine is going to outperform the Pentastar engine by a good margin, to say the least. But with that said too, you're still getting a good reliable engine with the Pentastar. So it's not like it's obsolete. It's not like, you should just skip the V6 models entirely. It's still a very good vehicle, very good performance, and there's a bunch of things that you can do on engine upgrades. But then you get into the conversation of, okay, if you're planning on doing all this stuff to the V6, might as well just look into spending the extra money now up front to get something like either a RT or a Scat Pack in order to offset the amount that you'll be spending down the line to upgrade to the V6. It just goes into what you're trying to do, I guess. How much performance or power are you trying to make out of the vehicle? Alrighty, so next guys, we're gonna be talking about the driving experience of these vehicles. So they differ slightly. Both offer, again, advantages and disadvantages in their own unique ways. Oh my gosh, so that's screws. Let's start with the RT. With the RT, this is a V8. Okay, as much as people want to sort of bash the RT and do all this stuff all the time, this is a V8. It's coming with the V8 cost, bro. Like you're going to be going to the gas station more frequently, depending on how you're taking care of your vehicle and stuff like that. You're going to be spending more money when it comes, like premium fuel. You're going to be going through tires. As you can see, it's evident by my rear tires. I definitely need new tires just looking from here. Going to be going to the gas station more frequently. Brakes, that's probably going to come up sooner in comparison to if you had a V6. Normal day-to-day things when it comes to owning a V8, it differs slightly. Like you're going to be tempted to push this car harder than you would a V6 model, an SXT, just because these things are just so fun to drive. Whereas if you get a V6, it's still not as practical as if you were to own like a 4-cylinder, but it's a little bit more comfortable, puts you in a better situation than going out there and forking over a lot of money off the gate, and then you sort of bypass some of those maintenance costs that's going to come with owning a RT. Sort of, stem off of that, I would say I would strongly urge people that are particularly concerned about, gas mileage, people that have to make, a lot of commutes on a week-to-week basis. you know, as much as having a V8 muscle car would have more fun, you know, miles per gallon, if that's not practical given the financial situation you're in right now, that's cool. I still think that, you know, getting a V6 Charger Challenger starting off with is an okay option. You know, it's not something to run from. The V6 definitely is more practical when it comes to discussions around gas mileage. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that V6 the upper edge on that. I'm still getting pretty trash mileage. Right now it's at 17 miles per gallon. I know a lot of other people out there, y'all over there bragging about y'all's numbers and stuff like that. Y'all are doing a little bit better than me, but that's where I'm hanging right now. And you know, that's the bullet that I have to bite when it comes to, you know, owning a V8. Alrighty guys, so now we're gonna hop into talking about our third point of discussion, which is gonna be the price of these vehicles. So if you want to go ahead and get a 2023 Dodge Charger SXT, that's going to cost you an estimated $33,000, right? Out the gate, MSRP. Whereas base model, whereas if you want to go ahead and hop into an RT, that's going to cost you a 2023 brand new, you know, base model RT. That's going to probably cost you anywhere from like $40,000 to $43,000. So that's going to be a $10,000 difference between you getting into a V6 and you getting into a V8. And that's not even including the maintenance costs. So what's going to make more sense on a practicality standpoint? That's going to depend on you. That's going to depend whether or not, as we discussed in the other two categories, if those are any of any concern to you. The price, it's $10,000. It's a lot of money, but at the same time, it isn't. You know, if you want to get into that discussion, that $10,000 can sort of be a window of like if you're considering getting a V8, I would say don't let that sort of scare you off. You know, it's not like we're talking, you know, a $20,000 difference or like a $15,000 difference. And these are just like flat numbers right now. You can always negotiate and get a price that's like more optimal, but I would say that since the price isn't that much of an offset, you can sort of wiggle into a range that you would want, especially with this. It's not like we're, you know, going from talking about like a V6 Charger and a Scat Pack Charger. Like, there's a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to play with these. So in case any of you are curious to know how much I did pay for my RT, make sure to stop on the channel. I'll probably drop a link in the description, and you can check out a video that I talked about, talking about how much I paid for my RT and giving y'all, I guess, some tips in case any of you are interested in obtaining one. And then what's really cool in that video too, a lot of people dropped, you know, numbers down below about how much they paid. And then you can just sort of like, you know, just see the spectrum, the sort of like curve and stuff like that based on where they are in the country and the region. So it differs a little bit, but for the most part, we're all in the same category. We're all paying like sort of the same amount on a month-to-month basis, including with the car note. So interesting to see that. Okay, so the last thing that I'm gonna touch on in this video, guys, is gonna be the features and options. So with this car that I have here, it's gonna be pretty stock, man, for the most part. Like, I didn't even get the, you know, upgraded Alcantara seats or like all the fancy amenities, the heat warmers and stuff like that. It's pretty basic. I've done a lot of stuff to it, but the things that came stock with it, it's not all there. However, with the RTs, you're gonna be getting the SRT body style. And I know a lot with the V6s, it has its own body style. A lot of the V6s, it's still pretty cool, but again, it's nothing in comparison to the aggressiveness that the SRT body style offers. With that said, if you are obsessed with the SRT body style, you can opt for the V6 GT models. The GT models are gonna be, you know, priced a little bit more comparatively to like a base model RT. And if you're spending that much on, like, let's say for example, you buy 2023 V6 GT, right? You could probably find a 2019 RT around the same price. Of course, you're gonna have a brand new V6 vehicle, but if your main concern was like having something that was aggressive looking and stylish, then I would probably just save a little bit longer and try to hop into like that RT model. But yeah, no, for the most part though, the V6s are gonna come with their own styles, which is still a good looking car. It's not a bad looking car in my opinion. I know like a lot of people, like they try to upgrade the bumpers later on and stuff like that. But I personally like the crossbar front grille look. I think the back on the V6 styles, I wish it had like the little splits like right here. That would be cool, but it's still not a bad car. Another thing that you're not getting in the V6s is going to be the paddle shifters. So as you can see, the paddle shifters, I'll hop into the car. So these paddle shifters, again, they're from Grid Ready. So if y'all are interested in these, make sure to check these guys out. Super cool. But now these paddle shifters, bro, they make a world of a difference, and it makes you feel like you're actually in a sports car. Whereas, you know, having a Dodge Charger without paddle shifters, it's going to feel a little bit funky and weird. I think the GT models, as we've just talked about, the SRT body style, they do come with the paddle shifters, but that's one thing, right? So let's go ahead and hop into the conclusion of talking about which one is right for you. It's going to come down to your personal preference and your lifestyle. I would argue that on a whole basis approach, getting a Charger V6 is way more practical and logical than hopping into this gas guzzling machine. However, if you're in a comfortable financial position, you can comfortably afford this, and something that you do want to have is an actual true American sports car, hopping into an RT would make more sense for you. So it would make more sense to wait it out a little bit, save up a little bit more, and hop into something that will give you more pleasure, more fun. But if your main thing is practicality, I mean, let's just say like you love the look of the Dodge Charger, you love, you know, having a Dodge Charger, you don't care that it's not a V8 or the fastest thing on the road, but you really want to have a Dodge Charger and you want something that it's a little bit better when it comes to gas mileage. Like you care about all of those little metrics, going into a V6 would make more sense for you versus hopping into something like an RT. So yeah, no, just make sure guys, before you go ahead and you decide which one you want, consider your driving habits, consider all of your other financial obligations, and think about which one's gonna make you the most happiest down the road. Again, these are just cars. We're probably gonna own like a bunch of cars over the span of our lifetime. So don't trip out too hard. But yeah, no, I was in the same boat as a lot of you guys too. And then I appreciate everyone that's like, you know, a lot of people have been asking this question. So I wanted to go ahead and make this video. Hopefully this adds a little bit more clarity to the situation you're currently dealing with, which side you should go down. But if y'all have any more questions, guys, feel free to leave a comment on this video, shoot me a DM on Instagram. And then as always, if anyone has any suggestions or any advices of their own, feel free to drop them in the comments down below. But until next time, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.